going on, everybody? I hope you're all having a fantastic day. So in this video, I wanted to kind of rank the top 7 synergy champions, or like the best 7 synergy champions, because there's 7 that really stand out to me. So they were always going to be in a top 5 or a top 10 list, but I feel like they're all so significant and there's a pretty big drop off after these 7. So I wanted to take them and rank them myself, and I'll throw in some honorable mentions at the end who are just good for standalone synergies with like one character, because those guys are useful. But these are the 7 that I feel like could really affect an entire team, and that they're never going to be dead weight, and that they're also really good champions on their own. So let's get right into the video with number 7. And so coming in at number 7 is Nick Fury. Now, Nick Fury is probably the best champion on this list, but his synergies aren't the best out of everyone, but they're still really good. So his first one is with himself, that he gives every other hero on the team 10% attack, 20% if he's dead. Then, of course, Restoration Kit, you can purify the suicides and get a 10% regen at the start of every fight. It's one of the most powerful synergies in the game that can really keep any champ sustainable and topped up. And then you have another super powerful synergy right here with one of the best champions, in my opinion, the best champion in the game, with Quake or Ant-Man, who's going to be getting buffed. That gives you the 3 evade charges, which is very good. Then you got the one with the Black Panther. The newly buffed one is very good. It gives you a nice crit rating buff for 10 seconds, so your first hits are going to be all critical mostly, so it's really good for like crit me with your best shot. So that's another really overlooked synergy that I see with him. For this one, Contingency Plan, I feel like this is really overlooked, because of course everyone knows you need it with Captain Marvel, but with Kamala it could actually be really good, because it's kind of hard to keep your Furies up, and I could see Suida doing a lot of stuff with it. Then we have probably the worst one. It's the one with the Iron Man, and it removes the Cold Snap, which isn't awful, because then it leads to these champions being able to deal with like Icemen. So not bad, but not amazing or anything. And then his worst synergy is this one, the Power Kit. And it just gives you a bar of power if you're going to be either drained of power or power locked. But still, looking at all those synergies, there's a lot, at least 3 of them are super beneficial. So I think that it easily secures him a spot, and he's just one of the champions that you're always going to be glad to have on your team, not only for how insane he is, but how good his synergies are. Now at number 6, we have White Magneto. And White Magneto is on his own a really overlooked champion, but you can see here his persistent charge mechanic, guidance boost. It basically costs 2 of her persistent charges, and you have either 6 or 8 at the beginning of a quest, and they give any attacker in the fight plus 15% attack. But if they are a metal or a hero champion, it gives them a passive stun that lasts 0.5 seconds longer than your normal parry stun. So it's so good for any limber or stun immune matchups. It is such a good ability, and the ability accuracy that comes off it too. Like right here, you see hero champions gain 8% attack, and metal champions gain 10% ability accuracy, which is just amazing. His next one here is that he will gain indefinite prowess buff, and that he can give some poison resistance to someone like Cable, and can actually make Taskmaster hit even harder on his tasks. Then you have the one with Apocalypse and Professor X, and it's huge for Professor X because it gives him the prowess duration increase, which is very easy, because sometimes it's kind of annoying to keep them up, but it makes it so much easier. Then you see the one with Colossus. It makes stagger less effective, so this will mean that you won't lose your armor ups as frequently against Mystic champions, which is really overlooked in my opinion. Of course, he's got the one with himself there that gives him a persistent charge for defeating a villain, so you can build them back up and use more pre-fights. And then I don't know if there's more of the 5 on 6 star, but this is just a 4 star, and he can do a lot. Like, I use him just for fun when I'm testing new champions. I always bring him so I can have that passive stun, and yeah, he's a good number 6. Now, in our top 5, we're going to start with Heimdall at number 5. So everybody knows Heimdall. He was the OG synergy god, mostly because of this first synergy, where once per fight, he will give you an unstoppable and an indestructible debuff every time you're about to die, but only once a fight, and it just completely saves you. It's the ultimate cheat death, and it'll give you basically a second chance of a shot. And you can synergize it with this, where you just get your 15% health back, and you're basically at nice chunk of health that you can take some parry damage and still keep fighting. Then there's this one that's very overlooked, and it's really good now because Angela got buffed, so you can use it for nodes like Caustic Temper, where you need the Fury to do damage. And then the last one just is a precision, so it's not that bad, but it's also not amazing either. But Heimdall is just the OG synergy god. You cannot knock what he can do. Cheat Death, the Regen, and the Fury are just such huge utility, and the fact that you can use it every fight, unlike some of the other ones with their precision charge mechanics where you can't, makes him easily the fifth best. Now, at number 4 is the guy recently bumping Heimdall a spot down, and that's Odin. Odin is such a good synergy champion, not only for his pre-fights, but for the two main synergies that he has, which are not shown here because it's only a 3-star. So basically, everyone knows that you can activate these pre-fights and they will carry through the whole quest with the champion you put them on. So there's the Aptitude, which gives you increased Fury, Armor Up, and Precisions. There's the one that gives you the Protection, that protects you from, on the 3-star, it's only 24% of your max health from a certain hit. And then I think it's called Electroshock at the bottom. You get like 60% shock resistance off the 3-star. But I think on the 6-star, Brian Grant was showing was around 90%. So those abilities alone would put Odin at least in the top 7 because they can carry out through fights and they can be used on any champion similar to Mr. Fantastic. But also he has such good synergies for other champions which are not shown here because it's only the 3-star. So this Mephisto one's actually underrated because it gives them plus 5% attack. But the Hela and OG Thor ones are so good. They make them such good champions. And now that Odin got buffed and he's actually a good champion on his own, he's not only a great champion to bring for your questing team, he's actually a great champion on his own, which is why, for me, I put him above Heimdall, because you don't just use him for synergies, you use him in the quest too, and he can get some work done. So number 4 is going to be Odin. And speaking of Mr. Fantastic, he comes in at number 3. Now, the next 3 are just so elite. They're so broken. You can see his pre-fight. You have either the Petrify, the Suppression, where it decreases their combat power rate, and also the one that makes the debuffs on you less potent and last less time. I'm not really sure how to say it, but it's a good debuff, but it's probably the least useful. But then you look at his synergies. Aside from the pre-fights, which are insane, you see his synergies. This one, it gives them a 20% health regen, or a power gain. I don't know what I'm saying. Power gain. There we go. His things with all the Fantastic Four. Thing gets the double rock stacks. Human Torch gets that increased Nova Flame and debuff duration. Invisible Woman is kind of trash because she only gets the all-time block thing, but it's okay. And now we see this one is okay. It gives Invisible Woman 25% debuff duration. The Council of Reeds one is so fun because you can just get a bunch of Mr. Fantastics and ramp up your damage by over 100%, 30% for each one, so you can have 120 in total. Then this one with Doom, you get 5% of power each time you nullify a buff for Doom, and then for Mr. Fantastic. Or no, it's reversed. You get 5% of a power each time you nullify a buff with Mr. Fantastic, and then Doom, your heavy attacks have a chance to armor break. And then these are the synergies that really count. It's the ones with the 2 skill classes. So Cosmic and Skill, you pause the buff on yourself and your debuffs on them for 0.2 seconds. This one, everyone knows, it's the Power Sting one. Whenever you parry and throw a heavy, you place 3 passive Power Stings that can do so much crazy damage in Abyss. I did a She-Hulk solo with a 3-star, and it was just so simple. And then there's the other one with the Mutant and Skill, or Mutant and Mystic one, which is pretty good. I didn't get to read its ability, but it's okay. But he's just such a beast. And I didn't get enough time to finish talking about him, but we're just going to move right into number 2, who is Professor X. Professor X is so good. He's just barely beat out by our number 1, but you can see here immediately, you can get your Cerebro charges up. That's stacked to 100% more prowess on your special attacks. So they're doing basically double damage. So now we're going to look at all the drugs he has, not the bad kinds, just the good synergy kinds. So you get poison resistance with Wolverine, X-23, and Colossus. You get even more prowess damage with Emma Frost, Pyramid X, and Storm, and they each gain their own little things that you can see, like shock potency here, and then 30% critical rating. And then we move on to Drug L, which is once per fight that you can gain regen of your maxed health, so they can be up to 30%, which is just stupid, but it is with some average champions like Cyclops and, well, Phoenix is actually really good with Professor X, so there's that. Then you have Gateway, which is the Bar of Power, so it can be really good for Archangel because it also gives him increased bleed potency. And then the Beast one is kind of stupid because, well, it's Beast, let's be honest, he's not that good. But the Drug M can give you, what does it say here? I can't read it that well, but I think it's something about regenerating a certain amount of health or getting a, no, it's a barrier of health. So you get a ability to block out a certain portion of health, and it's with Iceman, Magneto, and Magneto House of X, and they actually have good synergies with each other. It gives Magneto more damage, gives Iceman a nice ice shatter so you don't have to throw heavy attack, and yeah. Professor X just has so much stuff, I can't even get to talking about him completely, but he's easily number 2, and only one-upped by the Big Daddy, my favorite boy ever, Apocalypse. Everyone knows he's the best synergy champion. Everyone knows he's the best champion in the game. There's no question about it. Look at him. Look at how big he stands. And everyone knows his just insanely broken horseman ability. So you get it here. He makes so many champions good. He makes Cable a beast, Kang a beast. And it also helps him because he starts off with his 4 charges. Storm takes her from one of the worst champions in the game, just like an okay damage special champion, to just insane shock, maybe the best in the game. Then you got Pyramid X. It takes her from, pretty good champion, like possible rank 2 6-star, to rank 3 6-star worthy if you have the synergy. Psylocke. I don't really play around with Psylocke a lot, but I've seen so many people use the synergy and make her absolutely stupid. Gambit has one of the most overlooked horseman abilities that gives him a perfect block on everything if you get your 10 charges, so it's absolutely stupid with Gambit. Wolverine has one of the most well-known ones with all the critical bleeds you can be getting. It makes him one of the best bleeders in the game. And then the one at the bottom just makes the most OP champion in the game even more OP, Archangel. So, like, what more do you want from Apocalypse? He's easily the best synergy champion. And this doesn't just apply to those champions I said, it's any mutant. So he's just so good and easily number 1. And with that being said, that's going to do it for the video. I know I've been talking for a while without stopping, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. And the quick honorable mentions I wanted to give out, I know they're good synergy champions, but not good for the entire team. Like Apocalypse and Mr. Fantastic can affect your entire team, whereas these will just affect one person. So you have like Sasquatch and Sabretooth, an amazingly powerful synergy, but it only works towards one champion. It doesn't make the other better. It doesn't benefit anyone else on the team, but it's still a super powerful synergy. And then you have it with like Red Guardian and Abomination, Hitmonkey and Black Bolt. There's a ton of those types of things in the game where it's just one way it makes another champion insane. So I just wanted to point those out, that those are all great synergies to have, but they're not the best synergy champions alone. So that's why Apocalypse and Professor X are number 1, because not only are they great champions, but they can make not only one person on your team better, but literally everyone else on your team. So I do hope you guys enjoyed this one. I do want to take some recommendations for top 10s or top 5 ideas, because I'm starting to run out of ideas. But you guys have gotten me on maybe ranking the Horsemen, my favorite champions to play. So I just want to know what other ones you would want to see in the future. And I really appreciate you all subscribing. The 400 subscriber special should be out, which is going to be that rank 5 Crossbones gameplay. The only issue is going to be leveling him up because I don't have a lot of ISO. But it should be out within the week. So thank you all so much, and I will see you in the next one.